Imagine it's 1994. You've just finished watching Forrest Gump, and maybe, just maybe, you're thinking of getting yourself a nice little revolver. You walk into a gun shop, show an ID, wait a few days, and boom, you're locked and loaded. Now, in 2024, you can buy a gun faster than you can get Amazon to deliver a blender. That's right. Gun ownership in the US has exploded in the last 30 years, and today we're diving into the stats, the trends, and how America somehow became the Costco of firearms. So, how many guns are we talking about here? Well, in 1994, there were about 192 million firearms in civilian hands. Fast forward to today, that number is over 400 million. Yep, that's more guns than people. If every baby born in the US today came out with a Glock in hand, we'd still have leftovers. And this isn't just some slow, steady increase. Gun sales skyrocketed in certain years. Take 2020, for example. Between a global pandemic, social unrest, and people suddenly thinking the world was turning into a Mad Max sequel, Americans bought 23 million guns in 1 year alone. That's a 65% increase compared to 2019. And for perspective, that's like every person in Texas, plus half of New York, buying a new firearm. And gun manufacturing? Back in 2000, the US produced about 4 million guns per year. Now, that number is closer to 11 million per year. That's a 175% increase, faster growth than Amazon's warehouse expansion. Now, you might be wondering, who's actually buying all these guns? For decades, gun ownership was largely dominated by older white men. But in recent years, there's been a huge shift. More women, more minorities, and more first-time gun buyers are joining the club. Between 2019 and 2021, the percentage of gun buyers who were Black jumped by 58%. Hispanic gun ownership grew by 49%, and women now make up nearly half of new gun buyers. Basically, the stereotype of the gun owner is changing. Move over, Rambo. Gun Barbie is here to stay. So what's behind this surge? Well, a few big reasons. Fear and uncertainty. Whether it's political tension, mass shootings, or just a general feeling that things might go sideways, people are buying guns for self-defense more than ever. Policy changes and gun bans. Every time there's talk about new gun control laws, gun sales spike because nothing makes people want to buy something more than being told they might not be able to get it later. Pop culture and social media. Let's be honest here. Gun culture isn't just about self-defense. It's a part of American identity. From action movies to YouTube gun influencers, yes, that's a real thing. Firearms have become a lifestyle choice for many. All right, now we have to talk about the darkest part of all this, school shootings. In 1994, there were 24 school shootings in the US. That was already concerning. But in 2023, that number was 346. That's a 1,300% increase. Now let that sink in. And when we talk about the most infamous school shootings, Columbine in 1999, Virginia Tech in 2007, Sandy Hook in 2012, Parkland in 2018, Uvalde in 2022, it's clear that mass shootings in schools aren't just rare tragedies anymore. Firearms are now the leading cause of death for children and teens in the US, surpassing car accidents in 2020. This is a problem that barely existed 30 years ago, and today it's something kids literally train for in school. So, we've got more guns than ever, more people buying them in a very different landscape than we had 30 years ago. What does that actually mean? Well, the good news? The overall rate of gun homicides is actually lower today than it was in the early 90s. But the bad news? The total number of gun deaths is at an all-time high, with 48,830 gun-related deaths in 2021 alone. That includes mass shootings, suicides, and domestic violence cases. And speaking of mass shootings, in the 1990s, they were rare. Now they happen almost every day. So, after 30 years of gun growth, where does this leave us? Well, the debate is as fiery as ever. Some see the rise in gun ownership as a sign of personal freedom and self-reliance. Others see it as a dangerous trend that needs regulation yesterday. And in between, a whole lot of Americans who just want to stay safe, whatever that means to them. One thing's for sure, the U.S. isn't about to slow down on the gun front. So, whether you're a gun enthusiast, a concerned citizen, or just here for the stats, buckle up, because the next 30 years, they're gonna be wild. All right, folks, that's it for today's video. If you learned something new, hit that like button. If you have thoughts, and I know you do, drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more breakdowns of America's strangest, wildest, and most mind-blowing trends. See you next time.